I'm a storyteller, and I've been trying to research stories around the estuary. And Stuart sent me a story by Wynne, who's actually here this morning. So I'd like to thank Wynne for this story. I have based what I'm about to tell you, and it is a story, around Wynne's story, but it is my reimagination of bits of it. So I wanted to say that to Wynne directly. So this is a true story. We all know that children like to mess about in places they're not really supposed to be in. And so it was with Wynne and Jeff back in the early 50s. They used to like to go to Connors Quay docks. They'd been told that back in the day, it was a really busy place with all the boats coming in with their masts, picking up the bricks from Buckley, bringing in pit props. But when they were there, it was really different. Kind of run down, really. The occasional seagull will fly by, the mud was there. And of course, there was the old steam crane, the only one left. This great monster, welded together and just cobbled to keep it going. Its huge arm would run around the docks, lifting things off trucks, things off the occasional boat that came in. The back of it was a chimney with the steam and smoke came out. The smell was in the air. This great thing. It chuntered around, doing the occasional work. It was a good old beast, and they loved it. One day, Jeff and Wynne went down to the docks to do some eeling. It was a thing they did occasionally, hooking up the line with a worm, flinging the weight into the water 25 feet below, and waiting. Wasn't good catching an eel. They were buggers to hold, slithery old things, but it was good fun. It was good fun. And as they were eeling, they glanced up, and there the crane, the steam crane, had been brought to the side of a truck with huge, great steel pipes. And as they watched, one of the dockers, one of the hard drinking men, he wouldn't mess with them. They were putting slings around the pipes. The crane went into action. It went forward, the lines went taut, and then, to their amazement, the front of the crane dipped and the arm touched the top of the pipes and the back wheels raised up, and suddenly it sprang back and the line snapped. And as though in slow motion, the whole thing went backwards and fell onto its back and slithered across the dock and splash and all the steam and things. The thing had gone in the water. They jumped up. Oh, what's happened? Where's the driver? And there he was, battered, lying down. He jumped out of the cab. "Oh, you two," came a voice. "We better get out of here," said Jeff, and ran home before we get told off and blamed for this. A week later, they made up their minds they'd go down again to do a bit more eeling. But to their amazement, when they got there was a tug and a barge. And on the back of the barge was a wheel, an air wheel. And there was a man being prepared for something. The barge was over where the crane had gone in the water. They watched as the man had 2 layers of thermal underwear put on him, then an outer canvas layer, and then a shoulder harness put on. A great big brass helmet was picked up and put on his head. Front casement was closed and locked, and the air pipe was attached. The man started pumping the air. Weights were put on the man, and he was led slowly towards the water and handed an oxyacetylene cutting device, flame burning bright. He was lowered into the water. They watched as he went under the mucky brown water. All they could see were bubbles where he's working. What's he doing? Then they realized what he was doing. He was cutting up the old crane. And they noticed there was a new crane had been brought in. It was lifting bits of the crane out. Are they going to rebuild it? They thought. Are they going to rebuild the old steam crane? That would be brilliant. But they didn't. They didn't build the old steam crane. It was all carried away, and the new crane disappeared as well. And that was the last time such cranes were on Connors Quay. And the boat stopped coming. And the dock slowly died an even further death. But Wynne knew, and Jeff knew, they had a good story to tell their children. That is my story. Thank you to Wynne. I was really pleased to receive the story because my grandfather, on my father's side, was a crane driver in Workington Docks up in the Lake District. So they didn't work steam cranes. I know he worked cranes. He was a farmer and a dock worker, and his job was in the season to help on the cranes when he could get the work. So it really touched my heart when I saw this. Oh, I know about these sort of men, because my granddad was one of them. A man I didn't know very well, but he was quite a character apparently. So thank you for that. Wynne, thank you for the story. I hope I haven't butchered it too much. And thank you for your memories.
Well, thank you, Jim. It was fun at the time. The dock were declining and the ships were fading away, and Jeff and I eeling, as you say, in the dock. You brought the whole thing to life and describing the men and the atmosphere. And the little old crane was working for its last few years, and into the dock it went. So, and that was the decline of Connors Quay. Yes. So thank you for that. You have a lot of fun.
Well done. Told beautifully.